My buddy Bob Hadeen cast these blanks for me. Originally there were 4 of them. I still have 3 left. This is an example of the one I turned. It's my logo and it says, "You are always welcome in my shop," above the logo. And you're gonna see that one in a moment in this video. And here's the other style he made where it says, "You are always welcome in my shop," and it splits it above and below the logo. I have 2 of these and I now have 1 of these left, and I'm gonna put them away. So if anything happens to my pen, I lose it, I damage it, I can turn them and make another one. So thank you, Bob, for these great blanks. They were a blast to turn, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. I have the blank mounted on the lathe, and looking at it when I rotate it, you'll notice there's a lot of resin on top of the blank. So what I think I'm going to do is get it off the lathe. I'm going to go over to the bandsaw and I'm going to try to shave that down. And the reason why is as I'm turning, my tool is going to hit here. It's going to put a lot of torque on the blank. It's going to hit here with a lot of torque. And then I'm going to be turning air for 3/4 of the blank. So what's going to happen is I could cause this, even though I've got my tailstock locked down tight, to rotate on the bushings. Too much rotation could potentially heat up and enlarge the brass tube. I don't want to do that because then my pin components are not going to fit nicely when I try to assemble it. So let's get it off the lathe. I'm going to go cut a little bit of this material off, and I'll be right back and we'll pick up with turning this blank. I did use the fence on my bandsaw. That gave me a nice straight edge. I didn't want to take a chance at cutting in too deep to the blank, and then I didn't have enough meat to give the pin blank a nice shape. You'll notice that from top to bottom, as well as side to side, I have a fairly similar amount of material, so I think this is going to make for a nice turn. Let me grab my tool and we'll get started. That was a fairly easy turn. Alumilite always is. As long as you've got a sharp tool and you take very light cuts, you're going to come out with a pretty decent blank. I am going to sand this blank. A lot of people don't like to sand Alumilite blanks because they're worried that it will put too many grooves in the blank that are difficult to remove. But I sand with discs and a foam-backed hook and loop pad using my my drill, my cordless drill. So while the blank is rotating towards me, the sandpaper is rotating clockwise, and I don't get those deep grooves in the blank. I get a nice finish that I can then come back and micro mesh and really bring out the beauty in the blanks. I just finished sanding, sanded down to 800 grit. You will not notice any gouges or grooves in this blank. I've got an incredible transition at the bushing on both ends, and the blank is a little bit hazy. That's to be expected. It has not been micro meshed yet. The micro mesh will take care of this haze and polish this blank up, and it'll be like a piece of glass. For micro mesh, I dip it in water and I give it 15 seconds per pad. That's 15 seconds of moderate pressure. Now I'm going to wipe the blank off to get rid of the slurry. You can see the slurry on the pad as well as on the paper towel. You want to get rid of that before you move to the next grit, because if there is any grit from this pad left on the blank, you're just going to grind that back into the blank and you're not going to get the polish, the shiny effect that you're expecting. I'm going to move on through the rest of the micro mesh pads and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Take a look at the difference in that blank, how much shinier it is after the micro mesh. Looks pretty darn amazing. What I'm going to do now is something that some of my friends have been telling me about. I've not done this before, but I've been told that there are microscopic scratches that even the micro mesh can't remove from the blank. So what a lot of my friends are doing is putting one coat of thin CA glue on the blank, and that one coat of thin CA will fill any of those microscopic scratches, and it's supposed to give a much better finish. So let's see what we think. Well, that looks pretty good. There's a lot more clarity in the blank, but the problem I see is I've got some swirls. I can see them if I look from the side at the reflection, of the light above my lathe. I can see swirls from the paper towel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, the CA has now gotten into any of the microscopic scratches and filled them. They should be filled to surface level. I'm going to go back and micro mesh this blank one additional time and see if that levels the blank nicely, and let's just see what it looks like. This is all an experiment. I hope this works out, but until we try, we don't know. Here's a look at the blank after micro meshing it again. I gotta be honest, I can't tell a lot of difference. I would imagine if you looked at this under a microscope, this blank would probably have a much finer surface. But honestly, I can't tell a difference. If you apply CA to your Alumilite blanks post-turning and you see results, from basically micro meshing to applying this finish, I got to be honest with you folks, I can't see a lot of difference. I mean, the blank looks good. It's very shiny, but it looked good to me before I applied the CA. So I'm not 100% sold on applying CA to your Alumilite blanks. If you use this technique and you have results to where you can take a blank that has been just micro meshed, apply CA, and you can get a much better finish, please explain in the comments of this video how you do that so that I can try the technique, because just putting CA on the blank, I got to be honest, I'm not seeing it. And I get so many people that tell me this makes a huge difference in the appearance of your blank. So keep me posted if you know anything about that. I would really appreciate it. I need a pin kit to mount this blank in, and I don't happen to have a new one laying around, but I do have one that I made a while back, and I haven't done anything with this pin. I don't plan to sell it. I don't plan to give it away. So let's take it apart and put that blank into this kit. Just going to use a punch, 27/64" punch. I've got these set of pliers. They're called soft grip, and they're made to grip pin blanks. And then we'll just pop this a couple times with a hammer. Put the part you're knocking out of the pin into the palm of your hand so you can catch it and it doesn't go flying across the shop. A couple of pops. There we have it. There's nothing wrong with this blank, so for now, I'll just put it in the drawer, and maybe we'll find a use for it in the future. But we now have a pin kit to mount our blank into. I'm going to take our blank, use this deburring tool, and we're going to deburr both ends of the blank. Make sure we get all of the brass filings out of there. It looks pretty clean to me. I'm going to take the cap clip assembly and I'm going to align the clip with the seam in the back of the blank. We use a bushing in the front half of the blank. And now we need to make sure, I'm going to move around to the other side, that we align everything nicely so that we press the cap clip assembly into the blank as squarely as possible. There we go. I am really happy with how this one turned out. I like the fact it's got my logo on it, as well as my slogan, "You are always welcome in my shop." And this will be one that I carry, so really happy about this pin. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making this one simply because it was a gratuitous turn. This was just for me, nobody else. A lot of times I'll make things for other people, but This time, I just made something for old Bob. And it was a lot of fun. I'd like to thank my buddy Bob for making this blank for me. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. And I'd like to thank all of you for watching the video. And I want everyone out there to know that you are always welcome in my shop. Come back and see me again real soon and have a great evening.